What's going on, everyone? I'm Eli. Welcome back to IgnitionTube. Today, we're taking my R32, which just got fully resprayed in the last video after sitting in a guy's backyard for 6 years, and we're replacing the suspension. Now, this is the prior suspension. You can see some issues there. I won't tell you too much. We'll discover that later in the video. And this video is brought to you by my friends at Bilstein, my friends at 034 Motorsport, and my friends at VMR Wheels, because at the end of the video, after all this is together, I gotta go get them from the car. I'll be right back. We'll be installing these guys. It's blurred out because I want you to stay, and if you skip ahead, shame on you. Years ago, I tried to do that on my Mk5 GTI and I failed, and I sent it to my buddy Joey and he did the front coilovers. And 10 years later, my first set of Mk5 front coilovers, courtesy of the Amazon Strut spreader tool that's been worth its weight in gold and done a bunch of cars at this point. Axle out, which again, when I was younger, that was scary, but now, whatever. Now it's just strut bolts, and look at what I found. A piece of the spring, along with the completely shredded strut mount up there. The strut bearing was completely ripped into two different pieces because the spring had broken and couldn't provide the support for the strut top. Now, a logical person would just buy, I guess at this point you'd probably buy a spring too, but a spring, a strut bearing, and maybe a new strut top just to be safe. But I'm not a logical person, and I also have friends at Bilstein and 034 Motorsport. So, we came up with this solution instead. Oh baby, you gotta be kidding me. These are way too nice for someone like me. The thing that I just realized is because we have a new strut top, and we have a new strut bearing, we don't actually have to take apart the old strut, which means no spring compressors or launching across the shop like I usually do, to be honest. We just simply throw the spring on, throw these guys on, and we're in business. These are 034 strut bearings, and then these are the 034 Motorsport track density strut mounts. So they're a little bit like heavier durometer, I believe is the correct term. Like basically more firm rubber. We'll go this way. Yep, we're gonna put this guy on. Okay, we may need to compress the spring, but there's still room to spin the coilover down. So let's find the set screw, yeah. Let's see if we can get threads. We got some threads, boys and girls. And then I bought this pass-through socket set off of Amazon for really cheap. Now I have a 22. Everything just spins inside there. So, what you do is you take this thing, which is a 7mm, and you put it through the middle. Nice, and then we're completely bottomed out and we can tighten that down. And the nice thing is, with the new strut bearings and also the washers that Bilstein provides, it just spins right back up. Well, I put them back in the car. It's a perfect time to tell you about these Bilstein B16 or PSS10 coilovers. These have 10 different settings of damping adjustability, meaning that you can change how firm or how soft the car rides. These are one of the top quality coilovers that Bilstein offers. They have a variety of options. Of course, they have just struts as well that you can run with lowering springs, but I'm super excited to give these a test. Maybe we'll even take the R32 to an autocross day this spring. And a big shout out to Bilstein for sponsoring this video and sending out a set of PSS10s for me to experience on the R32. Put it in reverse, Terry. There it is. I'm gonna set these guys to 4. They have adjustability of 1 to 10, 1 being the softest, 10 being the hardest damping. In the front, I also set them to 4 after some internet research. And I'm expecting a really compliant ride, a little bit firmer than stock, but a really, really, really nice ride. And I'm so excited to run these. I've actually never had a set of adjustable coilovers before. It took me a little longer than expected to figure out how to set this up in the rear. It's new washer, coilover height adjuster thing, spring, and then the OEM strut or like spring rubber thing on the bottom, but you don't use the top one. You just use that rubber piece there. And I figured that out because I actually went to the Bilstein website and they have installation instructions. That's literally the setup that I did. It's always helpful because I wasn't sure if the adjuster went at the bottom or not, but then I was like, how am I going to adjust it if it's at the bottom? If you're looking there, that's the OE one crossed out, washer, adjuster, spring, and then the OE thing at the bottom, which is exactly how I have it. Alright, we got the Bilsteins installed with only minor damage to my head. Not bad. I just turned 30. I need a tetanus shot anyway, so got myself one of those. But they are looking good. You look up in here, look at that guy. We need some fender liners and a cleaning in here, but that guy is looking nice in there. And then you come to the rear, the yellow, that's real nice right there. Now, you may notice something. That's ugly. That's the rear trailing arm. Not pretty. So I was originally just gonna buy another rear trailing arm because it bothered me how rusty that was. And I was like, oh, I'll pull it out and paint it. And then I got talking to the guys at 034 a little bit more. You know, the ones that we just installed their strut tops and strut bearings. Check this out. You see in there? See how that has a zip tie around it? That's because that's a spherical bushing. So these are spherical spherical rear trailing arms. These are units. These are probably more than I need, but it'll clean up that ugly trailing arm and it will help with the handling. But to go along with that, we open this guy up. Hidden away is a sway bar. This car should handle like it's on absolute rails. Now there's probably a very elegant way to get this thing out, which on the other side is a little metal push pin right there. For the love of me, I could not hammer that middle thing out on the other side, and I'm imagining this is the same way. So I came up with a pretty straightforward solution. See, even with it worn all the way down like that, it still holds it in. Don't have a scale at the shop, but I'm 95% sure these are hollow. This is just so much heavier and higher quality, and I mean, this is the best part. Look at the quality on that thing. Lighting is awful. How about that? Story time for you. Let me come a little closer here. December 21st, 2014. See those? Those are VMR V710s on my Mk5 GTI. Now, they were the wrong sidewall. My buddy Fernando, who you guys probably know from the channel if you watched our drag racing videos, he's got a big turbo TTRS now, hit me up and said, hey Eli, I know you've been fiending for a set of VMRs. I got a set of VMR V710s for sale if you want to buy them. They're a little bit rough. I'll give them to you for a deal. I think I paid $400 for the set. I brought them home. I had the tires taken off of them. I sold the tires and I started refinishing them. Now, when I say refinishing, I was in college. I painted them in my driveway on a stick. I think I still have a picture of that. I couldn't bring them back in the house because they smelled like spray paint, but I needed to get tires put on them. So before winter break ended, I bought a set of tires and I took them to Firestone. And Firestone, because the paint had not cured, royally messed up the edge of the wheels. Now, it was not Firestone's fault, definitely mine because I never brought it inside. But nonetheless, I had a set of VMR V710s, and when spring break rolled around, I ran them on my GTI for a year. And then at that point, I was, like vlogging on YouTube at that point, and I decided to hit up VMR Wheels and say, hey, would you guys be interested in collaborating? And keep in mind, I think I'd worked with like a LED company maybe at that point. I had not worked with any companies. And VMR Wheels was cool enough to give me a discount on a set of V701s. Then when I bought my B&H S4, we did 2 different sets of VMRs on that. But I'm happy to say that I'm back and the homies from VMR still support IgnitionTube. Which means that in honor of me finally being back in a Mk5, we have another set of VMR V710s, but these are not just any set of VMR V710s. This is something that wasn't an option when I had my first set 10 years ago. This is the Flowform set. So this is a V710FF. They're lighter, they're stronger, and they're gonna look so sick. And spoiler alert, I bought a set of Falken FK460s for these as well. If you guys remember, Falken sent me 2 sets of these tires, and then actually sent me a set of winter tires too. But since then, I've been buying the FK460 with my own money. And if you guys don't believe me how much I like these tires, I have my own mother riding on a set of them. One thing I didn't have 10 years ago was my man Corey with Tires on Demand. Corey, do not give these the Firestone treatment. Corey's putting silver on the inside and black weights on that. Going crazy. Are we letting them in on the secrets? I guess we've shown them the secret before.
A little bit.
See
do
that?
it the right way, we don't do it at all. You know?
I miss working with 18s, like actually being able to pick them up. Anyway, I'm so excited about these V710FFs. I cannot wait to see what they look like on the car. My kid's out of school in 25 minutes, so I gotta be quick, but I'm gonna throw these on. Oh, I miss this look so much! Oh, that look is so good. I'm so glad I did the brakes black. I know you guys wanted me to keep them blue, but... Oh, man. I turned the audio gain way up so everybody could hear this. I actually think I want to build the suspense for... Well, no, I want to see it. Do I do the other side? Do I do this side? Nah, I'll just do this side. Jack stands while we're coming down. Everything's looking great. Touchdown. Alright, hang on. I got the ride height wrong. Sitting a little too high, I think. Alright, I spun it down, 8 more threads in the front. That's much better. That's exactly what I want. Now I also came down 4 turns in the rear, so we have like a 2-finger with like a little bit of room gap and a little bit more room back here, but 2 fingers all around, which I think is the stance that I want to go for this car. If you followed the channel, let me move out of the way of the wheel. If you followed the channel for a while, you know that I tend to slam my cars. And this one probably will end up getting a little bit lower, but I think I'd like to try an autocross event this spring, and I think this is the car to do it in with the suspension setup and the sway bar, and now, you know, lightweight wheels, brakes just done, that kind of stuff. I think I'd like to give it a shot. So I don't want to slam it too much and then ruin my perfectly painted fenders. So I think I'm going to leave it at this height for now. It's probably going to settle a little bit as coilovers do, and we'll see how it works out. I think this one needs to be classy. I think it needs to be a little less boy racer, and you know, I need to be a little more grown up than I was 10 years ago. So that means not necessarily slamming it. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'm going to take it for a drive. Officially 3 hours before this video goes live, and let's address the elephant in the room. 1, there was a massive fuel leak. I think I fixed that. 2, this thing needs a wheel bearing on the right front so badly, and I wasn't sure if it was the tires, because it was much louder in here before we put the new wheels and tires on it. But if you hear humming and clicking and grinding and stuff like that, it's the front right wheel bearing, which I have to order one after this. I've put approximately 3 miles on the coilovers so far. So what I'm gonna do is give you guys my initial thoughts, which are very promising, but I'm also gonna commit to doing an autocross day this spring. I'm gonna do it with Palin at some point, and we're gonna put these Bilsteins to the test. So Bilstein, there's another video coming with the coilovers, I promise. But I'll give you guys my initial thoughts, and those are that this is significantly better than what this car came with. I mean, it's so flat. We're only on 4, so it's not like super tight and tough. And the nice thing about this ride height that we've dialed it in at, I think I'm a little bit too low in the left rear corner. It's a 1-finger gap as opposed to everywhere else where it's a 2-finger gap. So I gotta spin that back up, but that's okay. I'm really happy where the ride height is. I think the car looks sporty, not slammed, which is perfect. And it's only upwards from here. You just hear the wheel bearing. Disclaimer for this one, I have so much stuff in the trunk. So if you hear stuff rattling around, it's not the suspension. That I'm literally on my drive home from the shop for the first time with all the stuff that I need. Definitely sounds like an R32. Holy. The turning is crazy. Now granted, I didn't drive this car much stock, but I thought these were supposed to be like this thing just goes. It doesn't even have an alignment in it. Are you kidding me? Okay, more to come on these Bilstein coilovers. We're going autocrossing this thing because I cannot believe that. It just like, I mean, I sent it in there on that second off ramp coming off the highway. I really sent it in there, and the thing just stuck. I'm very impressed. And it's, I mean, like, mid-quarter bumps, I don't know if you can tell at all, mid-quarter bumps didn't unsettle it at all. So it's not too soft. I wonder if we'd gone down more on the softness, if it had become a little mushy. I don't know, but setting 4. Maybe we'd stiffen up the rear a little bit to get it to rotate a little bit more on a track day, but I'm thrilled. I am genuinely happy, and it looks beautiful on the VMR wheels. Really can't ask for more than this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Big shout out to Bilstein, big shout out to 034, big shout out to VMR Wheels. Thank you guys for watching. Go out there and spread some positivity, and I will catch you guys in the next video.